Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Both for our radio audience here in Mississippi, we're glad you all could be back with us. Also, those tuning in through our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcasts, we're glad you all could be with us as well. We're excited to welcome Hans Soto to our program today. He's an actor and producer that's been able to do what he loves and then to be able to share that experience with all of you. You've gotten to know us most recently as he's joined the Cobra Kai franchise. We'll talk to him about that experience, but also what he's looking forward to this year as we're going throughout 2021. Han, thank you so much for the time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, glad to do it. We're going to talk about Cobra Kai 3 here in a bit, but I want to talk about this journey for you. I noticed when I was prepping for this segment, you've been a part of some really, really great projects over the years. What has it been like for you, Han, to kind of look at your career and all that you've been able to do so far?
Man, I've been so blessed. I think the universe has very, very much shielded me from a lot of bad mistakes. You know, because we have this thing in our head that in order to make it in the industry, you have to be out in LA or be up in New York, or as you know, in the Southeast, like the industry pretty much came to us back in 2009, 10. Literally, like I was in my car headed to LA when I got called about some movies that I auditioned for, and I booked three movies on that phone call, and I exited, right after the Atchafalaya Basin, we're near Lafayette, and turned around and never looked back.
Wow. It is an amazing thing. Han, I'm glad you brought that up, because I have told people as we're going to celebrate year 18 here on the program, of course, we're heard on other affiliates, but, my home state is Mississippi, and it's not really the place you think about when it comes to to radio and broadcasting, yeah. Right? But I totally love that point you're making. Has that been part of the joy for you too, Han, to show other people that, you can really be able to find your place no matter where you are?
Yeah, I think the gift is just, letting people know that dreams do come true, and, things are possible. And I'm only one story. Like, I have a ton of friends who you see them, and I got a buddy of mine who's a regular on SEAL in CBS, and another buddy of mine who's just all over Netflix, and we're from New Orleans, and it's amazing, Yeah. And we all have those, hit rock bottom stories, and kind of climb out of the crevice and make it. But I think the main thing we've always kind of kept as a mantra is, to uplift everyone around us. And, that's why I'm very happy to be here today, because I do want to let you know that it is possible. It doesn't matter where you're at, right. It's your mindset. Yeah.
I was asking you about the reflection. One thing I noticed was your acting reel. And I think, I think we all have heard that saying, Han, that a picture is worth 1,000 words. But do you still have those wow moments, though, when you kind of think about, some of these opportunities that have come your way?
100%. Every time. I never take it for granted, man. And it's everyone who's on my reel, I've grown up with them, like watching them on TV, and to be sharing their screen. I mean, for someone to trust, for a writer and producer to trust me with the material to bring to life, much less be across the camera from my idols. That in itself is incredible. Yeah, I mean, it's always a wow moment, and a lot of stuff happens behind the scenes where you get to see the magic of like the humanity side of them,
Right. I'm glad you mentioned behind the scenes too, because you've been able to, as I mentioned, you're not only an actor but also a producer. Is creating just something that you've always known that you wanted to do?
I love. I'm repeating something I just said on another interview about 30 minutes ago. But yeah, since I was like in elementary school, I realized that I used to storyboard, if you will, but I can't draw to save my life. But I used to draw like stick men shooting each other with little dot bullets, and it was awesome. So it was kind of like a realization I had on the last call, and I said, wow, I guess I've been storyboarding since I was in 5th grade,
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome. I wish I could find those notebooks.
I think, but I think looking back and being able to kind of see where the seeds were planted is always a cool thing. Which brings us to where we are today. I've had the opportunity over the years, Honda, to interview different people who have been involved in the Cobra Kai franchise. How did this begin for you? I mean, how did you find out about this particular project?
If first of all, my agent, Landra Martz LA, in Shreveport, of all places, they've always been kind of like there. They've been with me since day one, and I'll take them to the top wherever that is. But they set me up with the audition, and it's with casting directors in Atlanta who I've auditioned for multiple projects on. So if you really kind of dig into who cast this episode of Cobra Kai, you can see that they've cast me in multiple roles in Atlanta. I don't want to rattle off some wrong titles, but I'll let you look into that and see for yourself. But yeah, the casting, I think, just build a trust, man. And I like to show up. I show up 200% every time I can, And I think every time I get an audition, I don't hold it, I hold it very sacredly. It's thousands of people who've been chosen, and then when you get the callback, it's even a smaller amount. So a lot of my time is spent preparing for these moments that come up, right?
Right.
I auditioned for a smaller role in a previous episode, and I didn't get it, and I was kind of bummed about it. But again, the universe just had different plans for you, and put me in a position to be playing this most evil character in Karate Kid history.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
And that is one of the cool things. We have a television show based here in Mississippi, hon, but also we do travel with it. And so I was in Los Angeles last year, and I sat down with Sean Kanan, and he was talking about this series, the franchise, the Cobra Kai franchise, and what it was like for him to be a part of it. I think for so many people, there's so many people, there's almost a ready-made audience, right, for that. So I have to ask you that when it comes to fans and, or your extended friends list, maybe we'll say. What has that been like for you to see the excitement for these projects and the audiences that are there for them?
It's insane. First of all, I'm a champion for the brotherhood, for camaraderie, kindred, and I think seeing John, Hayden, Josh, the three creators, work together in this capacity. Those guys are childhood friends, or high school friends, or college friends. I can't remember which one it was, but it's a long time ago.
Right.
And I was on set watching them kind of live out their dreams together, and it was beautiful. Speaking to the fans, on New Year's Day, I was in DC actually celebrating New Year's with my family, and my Instagram account got 600 messages by 6 a.m. and by 3 p.m. I had 5,000 messages. It crashed. So I had to just reported it, and it's that if that's not a testament to the fan base, I don't know what is, because that means they had to seek my profile out and kind of go 3 levels deep to find my Instagram,
Right.
Yeah.
It is truly remarkable. I think, especially, of course, in the year that was 2020. We'll talk briefly about that, Han, and of course, and how that sets you up for this year. But I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome actor and producer Han Soto to our program today. We're talking to him not only about the journey he's been on as a creative, but also what it's been like for him to do work that he loves and to be able to share that experience with all of you. We also are talking about how you most recently been able to see him, and that is part of Cobra Kai 3. We're going to remind you of how you can stay connected with Han here. So, Han, I want to talk about social media then, because it is, you and I were just talking about before we went on here, that I just start following you on Instagram. That was, especially in 2020, right? It became the lifeline for a lot of people because we were not doing the traveling. I know I wasn't since March of 2020. I haven't left the state of Mississippi since then. But I think, it definitely has been that lifeline. How did that help you kind of getting through the year that was 2020?
It's really wild because, honestly, we've had the best year. I've actually had the best year of my entire career in 2020, which is crazy to say out loud. But my partner, a really good friend of mine, we ended up starting a distribution label called Kamikaze Dogfight. And as far as socials, you can find us at Kamikaze Dogfight on Instagram. But it's a distribution label that distributes horror films, feature films, and we've partnered with Gravitas and Red Arrow Studios. They've been very monumental in like providing a backbone for us to grow as a company. So we just pretty much catapulted from there. And you know what that set us up for was to meet filmmakers who would otherwise be struggling to find a distributor. We're able to offer them that kind of like that space to play and a safe space, if you will. And one of our filmmakers is from Mississippi, Thomas Smith. We just distributed his film Backwoods. But you know, I mean, just 2020 has been just a roller coaster, and just hearing different stories of you know all the filmmakers across the nation and the world. The lockdown has provided an atmosphere where I can wake up and take a call at 3:30 with a filmmaker in Ireland. By 5:30, I'm talking to someone in Australia, UK by 9 a.m., and then by 12 p.m., I'm making a sandwich for myself in Colorado. You know, so just the amount of money we're able to save as a company was I mean, that just blows my mind. That's $20,000 in travel right there.
Yeah, I totally agree. We were talking about recently, Han, that this was 2020 was our best year, and I think in 5 years for the show. And I mean, for one thing, people were looking for something to do. I'm sure that contributed a great deal.
Man.
Right. Well, thank you. But I think it does go to being able to make the most of situations. I noticed when I was prepping for your segment, you're already gearing up for projects for a year down the road. I mean, so I want to talk about that because I think, you know, for a lot of our audience out there online, at least, they are creatives or aspiring creatives. What keeps you motivated at this point, Han? What is it that keeps you wanting to keep moving forward, even when you're not having the best day or the best year?
My team, man, 100%. Just the people I surround myself with, the people I work with on a daily. Just being able to lift each other up, you know, because we're obviously not all going to be on the same frequency every day, every second. So when you know when one part of the team is down, we just do what we can. Everybody kind of pulls together and helps that person come up. You know, I'll have my days as well. I meditate a lot. You know, I'm actually in the mountains right now as I speak to you. And it's just you know, we like to inspire, man, and we like to just move the narrative forward in a good light, you know.
It's so important. We talk a great deal. I know for myself personally, I know the company you keep both online and offline can be so important, I think, to pushing you forward, but also I think sometimes if you're looking at what's holding you back, I think that's so true. So I have to ask you about the what's next, right? Because, of course, you know, you began this year on a high note. As I mentioned, you know, I noticed you have projects coming up. What should our audience be on the lookout for next?
Well, if you're following Kamikaze Dogfight, we're releasing 2 films per month. And at this point, we've got about 14 films under our belt since May, June. Yeah, and you know, I'm working on a film fund with a group of investors that we're looking to go out and fund movies, like smaller budget movies, but with obviously high elevated movies, with a very lower budget. You know, we're not shooting in the millions or anything, but anywhere from 50 to 200,000. So we finished our first feature with that fund, and I don't know, man. We're just creating as much as we can. You know, Reminiscence is a movie that I have coming out in 2021 with Hugh Jackman. I play a high-profile lawyer that's trying to stop him from taking down my client.
Wow.
Yeah. Super nice guy.
So definitely that sets us up then for how our audience can stay connected with you then. Han, you mentioned, of course, Kamikaze Dogfight is on Instagram. So how can they stay connected with you?
Oh, yeah. My personal is at Hans Soto, HANSOTO. And that's you'll find me on Instagram if they message me through hearing this podcast. We'll just let them know to message me and let them know that they heard iHeartRadio.
All right. Again, everyone, Hans Soto has been our guest, talking with us not only about what it's been like for him to do what he loves, but also, of course, you can catch him on the Cobra Kai series. So make sure you guys take a look at that, Season 3. And then, of course, as he mentioned, make sure you guys are following him on Instagram. I know I am. You can find him there at Hans Soto. And we'll make sure for those joining us via the podcast, we put the link there for you guys. Han, congratulations to you again. Thank you so much for the time today, and looking forward to having you back on the program again.
Thank you, Cyrus. I'm sending you guys good vibes for much success, man. Be well out there.
Thank you, man. Hey, same to you, man. Appreciate that. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.